Today I am going to speak about respiratory system. So, what is respiration? Let me explain you. Respiration is the process of breaking down food glucose for releasing energy required for all metabolic activities occurring in our body. So, respiration mainly includes the parts containing nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli. These are the lungs. Lungs has three parts, bronchioles, and here are the microscopic air sacs, alveoli. So, what is respiration? I have told you. So, let me explain next. Respiration can be further classified into two types, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the respiration that utilizes oxygen. Anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is the respiration that does not utilizes oxygen. So let's start with nose. Nose have two openings known as nostrils, each leading to the nasal chamber. The nostrils have a hairy lining to prevent dust particles from entering the lungs. So, it also contains mucus which traps the germs from entering the lungs. Nostrils have special cells for smell. So, let's start with pharynx. Pharynx are located here. From the nose, the air passes behind the mouth into the pharynx or throat. Pharynx is here because pharynx is divided into two parts, each leading from here. This is the trachea or windpipe, and this is gullet or oesophagus. See this. You can see this is oesophagus and this is trachea. Trachea is also known as windpipe. So let's start now with larynx. Larynx. It is a voice box due to which we can speak. Now it also contains two ligamentous folds which is known as vocal cords. Here it is epiglottis. See, you can see this. Epiglottis is here, and epiglottis covers the windpipe during the time of swallowing. When we eat food, the epiglottis covers the windpipe as when we cough while eating. This is known as because the food wrongly enters the windpipe and the windpipe throws it into gives it into oesophagus by coughing. So let's start now with trachea. What is trachea? Trachea is also known as windpipe. It starts from here. See this? I will show you from starting again. So this is nose. It starts here and this is nasal cavity. Here it is pharynx. Here it is larynx. And then it starts trachea. The trachea is started from here and continues till here. And it is divided into two parts which is known as bronchi. And in singular it is known as bronchus. So let me tell you what does bronchi has. When it divides here, it is further divided into smaller branches. You can see these are the smaller branches. See the smaller branches. The smaller branches are known as bronchioles. These branches are known as bronchioles. And at the end of the bronchioles, there are microscopic air sacs known as alveoli. Alveoli helps us for breathing. When we inhale the air, the hemoglobin, the oxygen diffuses into the blood and the blood containing carbon dioxide is removed. So let's see. Now here is bronchi and here are the alveoli. each lung contains millions of alveoli. Alveoli also helps in breathing. Now let's start with lungs. Lungs are spongy elastic organ which helps us for breathing. Lungs, the left lung is slightly smaller than the right lung because behind it there is heart. Left lung has two lobes and right lung has only three lobes. So right lung is bigger as compared to left lung. Now I will tell you who protects the lungs. Lungs is protected by rib cage and it is also protected by inner pleura and outer pleura. The inner pleura and outer pleura, between them there is fluid which acts as a shock absorber. So we have completed this, that the air passes through the nose, then pharynx, then larynx, then trachea and bronchi. So let's go with phases in respiration. There are mainly three phases in respiration: breathing, gaseous transport and cellular respiration. Breathing. Breathing is a physical process which has two parts known as inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation, drawing in of air through the nose into the nasal cavity and all other parts. After that it reaches the lungs. So let's start with now let's start with exhalation. When we inhale the air, let me show you. When we inhale the air from here, the lungs expand. See, the lungs has expanded, and when we exhale, when we stop putting the air in the straw, the lungs contracts, because exhalation is the process in which the forcing out of air is done by the lungs. So now let's start with gaseous transport. Gaseous transport means that the inhaled air containing oxygen is taken by the hemoglobin contained in the blood and the carbon dioxide is given out. Let me tell you that 21% of oxygen is taken by our in the inhaled air. There is 21% of oxygen and some of it is used for hemoglobin which requires oxygen, and 16% is given out. Only 21% is taken and released is 16%. Let me tell you, in inhaled air there is 4% of carbon dioxide and some is added from the diffused blood, and when we release it is only 4% because it does not increases, and nitrogen is taken in 79% and we release all because we don't need nitrogen. And water vapor is low, but while it passes through the lungs and here, because we have heat inside, that becomes water vapor and comes out through our nose. When we speak, we can feel it. So let's talk about now cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is the process of breaking down glucose for releasing energy in the form of andosine triphosphate. In short form, it is known as ATP. ATP means andosine triphosphate. So let's start with my project. So I will again show you the project because I have not explained the larynx. When we inhale the air from here, it passes from all organs and it passes in the lungs. I will explain you what is nasal cavity. The nose is opened in the nasal cavity. In the nasal cavity, there is there is sticky mucus which traps germs and bacteria. After that, it passes into pharynx. Pharynx is further divided into two parts. One oesophagus and other the trachea. You can see here oesophagus and this is trachea. Now let's start with larynx. Larynx is a voice box. Larynx is a voice box. It has two ligamentous folds known as vocal cords. When we eat, the epiglottis covers our windpipe, because when we eat the food, if wrongly it enters into trachea, we cough, and the food which wrongly enters the trachea is given out into the oesophagus. The oesophagus leads to the stomach. This is not our part because we are doing respiratory system. So now start. I will explain you the mechanism of breathing. The mechanism of breathing. Breathing is a physical process which includes inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation, the drawing in of air, is known as inhalation, and exhalation, the forcing out of air, is known as exhalation. So I will explain you what is breathing again. Breathing normally is an involuntary act, which means it is not under our control. But breathing can be controlled for a few minutes. We can control it by taking short breaths or holding in our breath. So now I will tell you what are the common respiratory diseases. There are four common respiratory diseases. First, bronchitis. Second, asthma. Third, pneumonia. Fourth, tuberculosis. First, bronchitis. I will explain you the cause. It is caused because of smoking, then pollution and virus. I will tell you symptoms. It shows the resulting in breathlessness and coughing spells. Treatment: drink plenty of water, drink plenty of fluids, avoid smoking, avoid pollutants. So let's start with asthma. Asthma is a chronic disease in which the trachea gets smaller and it starts swallowing. It happens periodically. The conditions improves considerably with meditation. Cause: air pollutants and allergens can trigger an asthmatic attack. So let me tell you the treatment. Treatment is that bronchodilators you should use when you have asthma. You should use bronchodilators, a machine containing corticosteroids. So let's start with pneumonia. Pneumonia, it mainly consists. So see, it is a respiratory infection caused by a bacterium. So let me tell you the name of the bacteria. The name of the bacteria is pneumococcus. The pneumococcus causes bacteria. It comes through the trachea and passes into the air sacs, which is microscopic air sacs known as alveoli. It comes into alveoli and there it multiplies, which they make the fluids, and there the disease causes chest pain, chills with high fever, mainly caused by bacteria. And the person who is having pneumonia, you should not go with him, because you will also have pneumonia, because it is like corona, it also spreads. And its treatment is antibiotics, penicillin. Tuberculosis, it is caused by bacteria known as mycobacterium. And let me tell you the symptoms. Symptoms are weight loss, high fever, low fever, after that chest pain and continuous cough. Treatment. The treatment is that we should use BCG vaccine and antibiotics, streptomycin. So let me tell you that we have completed our chapter, and if you have any doubt, you can ask in comment section. My name is Aaryan-Waves. Thank you, and please subscribe my channel Aaryan-Waves in India. Subscribe and like, share my videos, please.